It is a truth long established that a liberal woman over 50 with a lesbian haircut is sure to support the most evil ideas and policies that mankind has ever conceived. If evil had a face and a haircut, this is what it would look like. It would look exactly like Marianne Buddy.
She is the worst preacher I have ever in my life heard.
She's talking about behaviors, and she's cloaking these behaviors under the false guise of compassion. I mean, she's lecturing a guy who got shot about being in danger.
Gentlemen, huge bombshell report today. You remember that woke pastor idiot that was lecturing Trump to his face about refugees and immigrants and lesbian and transgender people? Well, she has just been exposed.
I know this is hard to believe, but it's true. The woke bishop, who presents herself as a champion for illegal immigrants and transgender rights, has been exposed. And honestly, I can't think of anything more fascinating right now. But that's not all. Her connections and past collaborations have also come to light. So buckle up, subscribe, and like the video to support me. Starting with her first appearance at a Trump rally, this wasn't the first time she made headlines. She was also involved in running underground projects with organizations like USAID. Just watch how people with common sense react to it.
We'll go all the way back to the summer of 2020 when, encouraged by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in the wake of George Floyd's overdose, BLM and Antifa began rioting, of course, across the country, but also in the nation's capital. Now, nobody at the Department of Justice or the FBI has ever pretended to care about this particular riot or any of the other ones, but it was pretty substantial by any objective metric. They injured dozens of Secret Service officers. They destroyed cars, vandalized monuments, looted dozens of businesses, ultimately forcing Donald Trump to take cover in the White House bunker. The mob also set fire to a church in Lafayette Square called St. John's, just a block from the White House. Now, if you're not familiar with it, St. John's is an Episcopal church. It's often called the Church of the Presidents because every president has attended the church since it was first constructed in the early 19th century. And in 2020, because Democrats had riled up a violent mob to advance a narrative of racial injustice in an election year, the church was under attack. And that is in spite of the fact that the Episcopal Church, as you probably know, is the wokest institution on earth. I mean, the Episcopal Church makes Planned Parenthood seem far right by comparison. The pride flag has long replaced the cross of Christ in the Episcopal Church. And I use the word church only in the architectural sense. I mean, the churches themselves are often quite beautiful. Architecturally, everything that happens inside those churches is hideous. In any case, Marianne Buddy was responsible for overseeing the church at the time. And after the violence and arson had subsided, she went on PBS to talk about what happened. But instead of defending her church or condemning the rioters who had just lit St. John's on fire, Marianne blamed Donald Trump. She claimed that Trump, merely by appearing outside the church to survey the damage, had, quote, used the mantle of the church to communicate a political message, which is going to be a very ironic statement here.
It's just amazing what a good actor she is. With all the lies and propaganda she has spread, she never once apologized or took accountability. Instead, she ran to woke media outlets, trying to inject this woke virus into the narrative. But what she forgot was that Trump would uncover all the nonsense she orchestrated. For me, it's incredible how these woke figures who take taxpayers' money tried to turn people against Trump. Yet now, almost 90% of Americans agree with what Trump and his administration are doing. And our beloved Greg Gutfeld has completely exposed her for what she did.
So she uses her spiritual authority to block criticism because she's a bishop. Don't argue with a bishop. She's a bishop. And, it comes from a long history of this. She's not defending sinners or the poor. She's not like Jesus. She's talking about behaviors. And she's cloaking these behaviors under the false guise of compassion. I mean, she's lecturing a guy who got shot about being in danger. Mm-hmm. Who is she implying that is putting these people in danger? Are there guys in MAGA hats that are mutilating healthy children, removing their genitals? No, that's her team. That's the people she's defending. Does she have any evidence that children are in danger by this new administration, the administration that is trying to rescue missing kids through this border fiasco? She may have a congregation, but she has no class. She saw an opportunity to feed her ego. She knew this was going to happen, and she rushed to the trough. On the bright side, I have to say, she didn't call him Hitler, which is good. But who knew Satan wore granny glasses and stole his haircut from John Denver just because you're spiritual, Harold, and you are? Doesn't make you smart, holy, or even good. We somehow ascribe those qualities like that, and imposters are here to exploit it. You know, Satan isn't going to show up in red tights holding a pitchfork. It's going to show up like that. She's an imposter. She exploits compassion for terrible, terrible beliefs. There is no compassion in saying that trans kids are in danger. They're in danger by the trans ideology. And when you're talking about immigrants being in danger, is she not aware that legal immigrants overwhelmingly favor a strong border because they like rules? They like the fact that you cannot cheat. You have to stand in line. I love also how she appreciates the immigrants for all the dishes they wash. She's the hood ornament for imposter morality. And she throws her weight, the church, to defend horrible things.
But what we all missed was that she was doing all this because she knew these were the agendas that brought her money. It still amazes me to this day that she needed those immigrants to be servants under her control, with a budget so low it wouldn't even cover groceries for a month. And if you're still wondering how much she took to fund all this nonsense and push other ridiculous ideologies, just watch how our friend from Twitter broke it down.
Has just been exposed. Elon Musk has discovered she alone has pocketed over $53 million through her organization by USAID. That's right, your federal taxpayer dollars was being sent to this woke pastor and her church and her organizations. But it doesn't end there. If you go to the usspending.gov website, you will see hundreds of millions of dollars were given to the Lutheran Church Network. It's the churches with the LGBTQ flags on the outside of their church. It's the ones that ignore sin and just preach love, right? They don't talk about the sin. They're the ones promoting abortion, promoting transgenderism, promoting gay and lesbian. And honestly, I think they are worse than anybody in Antifa. I think they're worse than anybody in the Democratic Party, because not only are they pushing leftist, godless views, but they're calling themselves Christians at the same time. Now, the craziest part about this bombshell report is that these churches had changed their names so that they didn't show up in the database. So they were getting hundreds of millions of dollars in grants and payouts by USAID and trying to hide it at the same time. Some would call that money laundering, but I'm not an expert.
You don't have to be an expert. You just need an eye and common sense. And thanks to Trump, he is restoring order to America. For me, it's a shame to see millions being wasted just to make children brainless and put them in fear. And as a Christian, I wonder where she got the mindset to do all this, because the Bible says we have the mind of Christ. I genuinely feel sorry for what she's doing, not just for her, but also for Kamala Harris, the queen of word salad.
For those rights to be maintained, which means we have to be vigilant, and it's just the nature of it. I mean, look at this beautiful play and everything that we know he was suppressed. He had to suppress so much, but he knew, and he took those risks. But we have to be clear-eyed, and it doesn't mean we don't see the beauty in everything, right? These things all coexist. But I believe we fight for something, not against something. Right. And that's our optimism, right?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. With that, I'll leave.
Watching and listening to all the nonsense. Along with the USAID scandals being exposed, doctors have recently discovered a new condition called TDS. It's astonishing how the lower and middle class people continue to support Kamala on various issues that only make them poorer. Honestly, if the woke liberals return to power, they won't care about these people at all. They'll simply push their own agenda, leading their followers straight into becoming TDS patients.
This whole sort of they call it like Trump derangement syndrome. And I don't, you don't realize how real this is until you can't reason with people. So I was at a friend's birthday party in LA, just a birthday dinner, and it was a nice, quiet dinner, and everyone was behaving normally. And then I happened to mention, this is before the election, like a month or two before, I happened to mention the president's name. And it was like they got shot with a dart in the jugular that contained methamphetamine and rabies, okay? And they're like, wow! And I'm like, what is wrong? Guys, you can't have a normal conversation. Yeah. And it's like they become completely irrational.
Guys, this is just amazing. Don't forget to like and subscribe and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Share this with a friend who needs to see it. Thank you for watching.